Hello and welcome to the Tonkin Legal Group presenting the Australian Family Law Podcast, where we demystify Australian family law by creating parallels with our beloved AFL footy. I am your host, Joe Charbine, and this is going to be a weekly podcast, short, sharp, and sweet, where we cover the most hottest topics in relation to football and bringing it closer to home in relation to family law. I am joined by two incredible people, and they are going to be absolute stalwarts of this podcast. We'll start off on the far right of your screen here. We've got Mr. Charlie Robinson, one of the partners here at the firm. Thank you very much for joining us, Charlie.
No worries, Joe. Thanks for having me. I'm very much looking forward to it. I know you're a seasoned podcaster, so looking forward to seeing what it's like in your presence.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. We're going to keep it lighthearted, especially if this next man here will allow us to do so, because he is the boss. It is the principal partner here at the firm. We've got St.John Heath. Thank you so much, St.John, for giving us your time.
Oh, that's my pleasure, Joe and Charlie. I'm looking forward to this. A little bit trepidatious, but let's give it a go, eh?
Well, there's nothing quite like getting the show on the road, apart from telling our resident diehard Melbourne Demon supporter here, Charlie, you've had someone at your club get up to some ridiculous antics over the weekend. Can you tell us more, please?
We have, and this would only happen at the D's, right on the brink of the season. So probably our best forward at this point in time, Bailey Fritsch, has recently undergone hand surgery after he's decided to break up a fight between his two dogs. So that's really already thrown our season off course before the season's actually started. So very, very strange. And funnily enough, the same thing actually happened, you might recall, back in, I think it was 2017, when Christian Petrarca, who is no longer with our team, suffered a similar injury. So what seems to be a strange common occurrence at the D's.
What is it about the D's and dogs? I mean, let's face it. He had two Australian Shepherds, didn't he?
He did.
And he's apparently trying to separate them, and sees the bitter end of. He's obviously had his hand injured.
Yep.
He's always had good hands, Fritsch, as well. So. Maybe that's his kryptonite now. He won't be able to mark the ball as well.
I certainly hope not. And I mean, you both might also recall a similar incident with, well, not an incident, but Jordan De Goey a while ago as well. Actually, I think he made up a story that a similar thing happened, and he injured his hand after being attacked by a dog. But I think that was actually a cover-up for an altercation he had at a bar. So a little bit different there from Jordan.
Right. That's taken at face value. We don't know for a fact that it's a little bit different. Right.
True.
Always honest players at the D's.
That's why the most honest ones end up chasing the cash and going up to Gold Coast, I think.
Yes.
We won't talk about him.
All right, fine. We'll move on from it. We won't talk about it. He's dead to you. Fair enough. But what's not dead, in fact, it is more alive than ever before, St.John, is this talk about the pets, this talk about the dogs. We've finally got a case in relation to what happens in the event of a separation, and we've got two people having an argument about who keeps the dog.
That's right. Now, there's been cases in the past decided by the court regarding pets, and I think the reference was that they're always chattels. So something that people can have a tug of war over. But we all know you can't get the sword of Damocles and cut the dog in half. So, but this recent case takes up the recent amendment to the Family Law Act made in June 25. And it's a decision of His Honour Judge Forbes of the Family Court Division 2, where he was faced with a decision as to what he was going to do with the family pet, which was in this case a 16-year-old dog. Maybe not the culprit that took off Bailey Fritsch's hands, but in any event, the argument wasn't really about the ownership of the dog. It was about whether or not the dog could travel to and from care arrangements when the child was in the father's presence. Long story short, the court found that they can't make an order about shared care for a dog, but they certainly now can make an order as to the ownership of a dog pursuant to the new section of the Family Law Act.
And is this in relation to specifically on, are there any types of dogs or pets in general, animals that this
good
sort of
question.
arrangement?
The new phrase is a companion animal, and really that just means an animal that provides companionship. So it could be a budgerigar, it could be a crocodile, it could be whatever you deem as a companion animal. But it doesn't include animals such as seeing eye dogs or guard dogs that are employed or are used in some sort of official capacity. Yeah, so it's quite a broad definition. So I think any household pet fits under the definition of companion animal.
I think it's interesting as well, St.John, the relevance of family violence when it comes to these sorts of decisions that are made by the court. Yeah. So I know the court also now must consider family violence when determining which parties to retain the dog. So I guess that's another factor.
Correct, and you're right. The reference to family violence finds its way into the new companion animal section. So the court has to consider if there has been any family violence perpetrated by one party on the other. They also have to factor in whether there's been any abuse or threatened abuse towards the animal. So the mere presence of family violence is a consideration when deciding who the dog is to be owned by, and whether or not there's been a threat or an actual abuse or violence towards that pet.
We're seeing a lot more, I think, recognition of family violence in these new amendments. This will probably be the subject of a future podcast, but even in relation to property settlements and contributions being made more onerous. So it seems that there is now a renewed or an increased focus into ascertaining the effects of family violence in these separations.
I think you're right, Joe, and it's whether or not it translates into a real difference now being legislated for or not is another issue. I know from our experience that everyone's trying it on. Whether or not it's accepted by the court is another issue. But I thought I might just take you through what a court has to consider when working out where the family dog or the family budgerigar is to live on a permanent basis. So how the pet was acquired. So if the dog or pet is registered in a party's name, it's not conclusive evidence, but it's one factor that may assist you in that argument. How the dog was, any family violence as we've discussed, and any threat, abuse, or poor treatment of the animal, and the ability of each person to care for that animal, which I think is quite important, without the support of the other parent. So certainly I know my family have 2 dogs, beautiful dogs, but my wife is the main carer, I can assure you, and does most of the work. And of course, there's always in any family law section of the Family Law Act, any other fact in the opinion of the court that was relevant. In this case, one of those facts was whether or not the changeovers with a dog would create some further imposition on the already strained relationship of the parties. So I think it was deemed appropriate by the court not to allow the shared arrangement for a number of reasons, but also for the fact that it may create an issue at changeover.
I think it makes sense that I guess the logistical issues for the court making orders for shared arrangements involving the pet would just create a number of issues, ongoing disputes about who pays for the dog food, pet insurance, and that sort of thing. So I probably just only further goes to the point to sever ties, financially speaking, between the parties as well.
Oh, no, I agree. I think it can be a recipe for disaster. It's also, who picks up after the dog and looks after it from that perspective. I wonder, however, though, whether there might be a case where it's in the best interest of the child for a dog to be shared between 2 households. watch this space. Perhaps that's where the situation or the outcome may be a little different. But let's hope that Bailey Fritsch never has to front up to the family court and contest the ownership of his 2 Australian Shepherds. I did see on the Richmond Football Club website the other night that Jack Ross has acquired a new Rottweiler puppy who's absolutely gorgeous. It's his first puppy, so he's a little bit nervous about it all, but check out All In on the Richmond Football Club website, where he's running around the park with his new Roddy.
That's
Awesome.
right.
Just make sure he doesn't try to break up any fights with the dog.
Exactly. The damage will be less, for sure, dealing with a puppy, of course, St. John, the diehard Richmond fan here.
Of course.
But, talking about damage and dogs, how much damage do we really think the Western Bulldogs can wreak on the competition this year? They were a bit of, they were schoolyard bullies, flat track bullies last year, playing against the weaker opposition. They smashed them, but they couldn't beat a top 8 side to save their life. Are we going to see something different this year?
I think so. I'm bullish on the doggies, and what I did forget was to mention the case name, Wright and Berger, 2025, a decision of His Honour Judge Forbes. No, the doggies will win it this year, hands down.
Wow.
Got the best. Yeah, they've got the
Big
best
call.
list. 216 revisited. Watch out, get on them.
Huge call. I still think they're a defender short, but they've definitely got the top end talent. What do you think, Joe?
I think they're 2 defenders short, to be honest. But they're definitely good enough, in my opinion. They're definitely good enough to give it a shake and be a wild card team. I just can't see them winning every week in September and taking out the flag.
Wouldn't you just play Norton in the back line, and they're stacked in the forward line? It's been talk about this for years, but just get him down there. That solves the problem. They're built for September, guys.
You've got a vested interest in the dogs, St. John. I don't know what it is.
No, I haven't. No, I like the doggies. They've always been my second team.
It's his love for Bob Murphy, I reckon.
Sorry?
It's your love for Bob Murphy, I reckon.
Don't get me started on Bobo.
What about the Bombers, Joe? How do you think they're going to fare this year?
If all the stars align, and I literally mean every single star in the galaxy, we'd probably finish 10th. But it's not going to happen, most likely. I reckon we're going to finish in Dead Man Wonderland in 12th, I think, is where the Bombers are going to finish this year. But it's all about development. It's all about the kids getting more games into caddy and the like. So, yeah, not altogether concerned about how we go this year, but it's going to be a good one off the field, I think, for all of our clubs, as well as for this podcast. It's going to be a weekly thing, as I mentioned right off the top, and it's going to be short, sharp, and sweet, and we hope that you guys enjoy it. If you do, please like, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell, rate us 5 stars on Spotify if you're listening up to us over there, and please make sure that you follow us, support us, and if you have any questions, any topics that you want us to cover during the course of the season, leave them in the comments down below, and we will get to them.
Go Tigers.
Go D's.
Oh, you guys are naturals. What can I say? We'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye. We'll of course have the case in the comments in the description down below. So if you want to read it yourself, you can read it there. All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, St. John.
Thanks, Charlie.